Good evening, friends. Study with Apala Engineering and General Geology Parvin Singh book. So, chapter 4, chapter 5, geological work of glaciers, glacial deposits. Glaciers carry enormous quantity of heterogeneous load. Heterogeneous loads with them, which is kept in a state of transport till a tile. So the conditions are favorable for tiles. The glaciers reach their lower end or terminal points where rate of melting for exceeds rate of movement. The load is then deposited or dropped and may forms huge accumulations of glacial debris occurring varying shapes and characters. Drift. All such accumulations of glacial debris that have been deposited by glaciers directly from glacial ice or indirectly from the glacial melt waters are collectively known as drift. This is further distinguished into two types: tile or and fluvial glacial drift. A tile, it is also called tile till, called unstratified drift, and is the most common form of a glacial deposit. A synonyms terms in is a boulder clay. Tile may consist of an unassorted mixtures of boulders and clay particles, or just a huge accumulation of either component having an undisputed glacial origin. It may be loosely packed or highly compacted. In some cases, the tile deposits are dense, thoroughly compacted, and indurated vents. These are for this distinguished as tilites. Tiles often show a jointing structure and highly variable texture. They may be made up of a component, classed, and greatly contrasting shape and compositions representing regions over which the glacial ice had moved. Prior to reaching the place of deposition, moraine of various types and drumlin described later on a typical morphological examples of tile. B. Stratified drift. This is also called the fluvio-glacial drift. It represents all those accumulations of glacial origins where meltwater have played a prominent part in their deposition. Consequently, the stratified drift deposit exhibit a declined shorting according to grain size of the particles and may resembles in this case with the streams deposits. The meltwater may be formed at any place in a glacier depends upon the physico-chemicals and thermodynamical conditions. Thus, they may be formed over the body of a glacier due to excessive temperatures as a result of direct exposure to sun, or at the base of glaciers due to a heat generated by frictions as a result of movement of the glaciers. They may also be formed in the middle or elsewhere in the body of glaciers due to development of creeps and cracks of variable depth. The location of the deposits laid down by glaciers meltwater. Meltwater depends upon the conditions that controls the velocity of this water, as when and where there is a check in the velocity of the meltwater. A part of walls of glacial debris being carried by it is deposited temporarily or permanently depending upon the nature of a check in velocity. Consequently, stratified drift may get accumulated within a glacial regions or much beyond it. The first type of drift is termed as ice contact stratified drift, and the second type as outwash deposits. Cames, eskers, outwash. Plains are geomorphological features belonging to stratified drift. Say erratics. These may be defined as variously sized boulders and blocks of rocks that are clearly or and undoubtedly foreign to the place of their present occurrence. A huge many hundreds tons block of granites, for example, lying loosely in a valley, made up entirely of limestones for many miles, is a erratic at that place. Evidently, it might have been brought here from its original place of occurrence, which may be any distance away by some transporting agencies. Only the glaciers are believed to have been involved in such a work. Glacial erratics are the most commonly observed features in glaciated areas. Erratics that have been transported for as much as 1,200 kilometers by glaciers have been reported the Jhelum Valley between URI and Baramulla in Kashmir has a number of erratics derived from the granitic gneiss of a Kach, Nak, range many hundreds kilometers and up and away. Thank you.